Okay, so let's break this down here real quick. We'll start out with just the crash sequence, and I'll kind of break that down element by element. How I went about that. All right, so first and foremost, all of the impacts, that's where most of the magic is happening here. You'll see at the end how this all comes together to just really be something very cool. Basically, I just found important points, hits when he's bouncing around in his little ship off of things, and basing all of my main hits around that. Here's like some glass, for example, because he has this little windshield that's breaking. The main break right there, and it just kind of fizzles away, and it's just adding that texture in there. Really what I'm thinking about when I'm doing all of this, when there's so much going on, it's just different textures in there. So let's get onto the metal. That's where I pretty much focus most of my attention, to be honest, because between that and the wood, or the wood and the glass, I guess, are basically all of the main stuff that you're hearing with your eyes in this situation. So hearing all of those together, that's pretty much everything. And we just add in the very, very subtle little body impacts here. They're in there, and they're just adding something I feel like that you're more perceiving than anything else. So I have a little riser in there as well. Let me just solo this out. It's a couple different things, and then a couple bass drops to kind of end it out, as well as some aircraft sounds. So I'll just throw that in there real quick, just so we can hear all that together. And yeah, so you just have all these elements that sort of add up to be something very big. Each of them on their own never is going to do it justice, but this whole process of sound design, for me at least, is crafting all these different elements and all these different textures into a bigger picture that kind of conveys what you're going for. So once again, all of that together. Bam. So now we're into this. So, basic BGs, the backgrounds, pretty basic there, just some forest sounds, some birds and different jungle animals and such in the back, just to help place us in an area. I have a bunch of Foley elements, little metal clicks, leather, twigs, leaves on the ground, stuff like that. All very subtle, just textural stuff. All right. I have some other stuff in that hit down here, that final hit. Just basically a bunch of rocks and stuff, but it just adds what's needed there. Let's get into the predator noises. And basically what I did here is I have a few different layers of sounds, different animals and stuff. I have my own voice that I pitch down. I have basically like a dog, which is actually a pretty small dog that I just growling and making sounds and stuff that I pitched down and did stuff to, as well as some horse sounds in there, some lion sounds, and there's even like a little monkey kind of screech thing at the end. Oh, and I also put it through this little like kind of flanger double or like kind of chorusing thing. This is a free plugin, Valhalla Space Modulator. It's very cool. Just adds a little bit of, I don't know, warbly-ness to it, that since, you know, he's Predator and I guess he's kind of like an alien or whatever from a different planet, just to give it a little bit of an otherworldly sound and less rooted in reality. You can hear that kind of warbling, kind of weird chorusy doubling thing stuff going on there. Honestly, a nice reverb tail at the end there. Hearing that all together in context now. It's all about what it adds up to in the big picture. For me, at least. I feel like context, big pictures, very important. So now let's get into some of the music. All right, so let's start out with some of the string stuff going on. I have these kind of scratching violins here that I took from an East-West patch. Basically, all the sounds that I'm using here are part of, I think all of them, are part of the East-West Composer Cloud subscription. It's a very cost-effective way to get into more robust sounds than you get typically from stock instruments and things like that. It just gives you a little bit more flexibility, especially when it comes to dealing with dynamics and things like that. So basically, I just bounced that down to audio because it wasn't tempo synced, and I just kind of wanted it to end at a certain point. So I bounced it down to audio and just made that end exactly where I wanted to. So yeah, we have the scratching violins there. We have these little, I believe they're called penderecki strings. It's named after a specific composer, does some really cool stuff. All right. As you can see, I'm doing some yeah, super cool. I'm doing some dynamic swelling and stuff in here that you can see, basically with a slider, a fader. Just helps control the dynamics a little bit more. We'll bring in some of the cello here, which is a flautando patch, cello flautando patch from Hollywood Strings 2. And let's see, bring some of that in. And you know, let's just bring in the bass harmonics right now while we're at it. So all the strings together here. So cool. Basically, I just wanted to create some tension that sort of builds, then we're out. So I have this little Forbidden Planet. It's a very cool synth from East West. It's very, very cool. I have this, it's called Freak Show, was the patch that I used, but I did a whole bunch of changes to it and basically faded in between two different sounds that created this type of thing here. Let's get straight to it. I don't know, like the didgeridoo thing just kind of felt appropriate with this. Let me bring in this Bansuri flute here. It's from the Ancient Kingdom library from East West. Very, very cool library. And then I have a shepherd flute here. So all of that together. Super cool. And now we'll get into some of the percussion. I have some taiko drum, like rim hits and different things. It's a bunch of different stuff, some regular hits as well. Just listen to those. All right. Everything's based around the titles, as you can see. It essentially became my points to hit, which informed where I played all the other music. All right. Here's some other percussion here. By the way, that taiko is Storm Drum 2, and then this is Storm Drum 3, I think. Oh, no, they're both Storm Drum 2. Right. Bunch of cool little different sounds, metal and such. Just kind of more chaos than anything else. You know, from just trying to build anticipation and tension, I find the less strict you are with time, rhythm, and such like that, the more tense it becomes. So intentionally kind of just made it chaos. Basically, my tempo that I'm following is hitting the points on screen. I think that's probably the most important thing for something like this, is that you hit the major points on screen, the visuals, in order to help kind of tell that story, because that's what we're doing. We're telling a visual story here. So I have a synth bass part in here. We'll just, very basic, listen to it with the percussion here. That's coming from Forbidden Kingdom. Yeah, or Forbidden Planet. Yeah, you can see there's... Yeah, super cool. Let's listen to all that together one more time. Cool. So very quickly, let's listen to all the strings together. All right, the synth parts. Nice. We'll listen to the flutes here. The percussion. It's really what sets the pace for the whole thing. Nice. So let's listen to the whole thing one more time with the sound effects. That's pretty much it. Hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, come back for more like this. Take care.